You know, I come on here, and honestly, I feel like sometimes I sound like a broken record. I think that we all watch the shows on Monday and Tuesday and we realize what exactly is wrong with the WWE. It's not that hard to figure out what is wrong with the WWE. And one of the things that I usually go back and I harp on so many different times is the status of tag team wrestling in WWE. Why is tag team wrestling embraced in every other promotion that I watch and not in WWE? Why does WWE embrace tag team wrestling in NXT? And it's got a WWE banner over the NXT logo. It is a WWE presented product. Why did we start off NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool with the tag team title match, and it ended up being the best match on the entire show? Worldwide, everybody that watched that show said that was the best match on the show. Tag team wrestling is an art that many in and out of the WWE do not have the talent to make you care about. They don't. There are a select few in the industry that knows how to do it, and there's nothing more exciting than tag team wrestling. That hot tag, the scientific nature of tag team wrestling, dragging your opponent to your portion of the ring and keeping him away from making the tag, and then the guy that's been beaten down most of the match gets the hot tag. Something happens. The referee doesn't see it. He had his back turned because of the sly, Weasley tactics of the heel team. Then the hot tag is made, and then everything breaks down. Near fall after near fall after near fall. Just all-out action. It's either the baby faces overcoming the odds or the villains are just too good at what they do. Tag team wrestling is a missing art in this industry, and I don't know why it hasn't been embraced. Neither does the Revival. The Revival, I don't know. The Revival are a throwback to the old school. The Revival take what worked in the old school, apply it to the new school, and they've been very successful. There's nobody watching me that is going to deny how good the Revival actually is. I don't think that there are people in WWE. Most of the people who matter don't realize how good they are, but I think the majority of their peers realizes how good the Revival really is. The Revival have asked for their release from the WWE. I am not shocked by this. You are not shocked by this. I don't think anybody in the world who gives a shit about professional wrestling is surprised by this news that broke this week. Why did they ask for their release? Well, it doesn't take a fucking brilliant mathematician to figure it out. I mean, how many fucking weeks can we see the Revival lose to a goddamn fucking piñata? How many times do we need to see the Revival versus the Lucha House Party on Monday Night Raw? How many times do I have to sit here and explain to you how fucking miserable the Raw Tag Team division is? Who is there for them to wrestle? The fucking B Team? Rhino and Slater? The Revival are upset. It's not that hard to figure out. Why anybody would be pleased with what's going on Monday Night Raw is just mind-boggling in itself. We know it. We complain about it every week. Now the roster is finally growing balls and asked for a release, or are in the process of asking for releases. But WWE is going to silence every single one of them. The WWE is going to silence every single individual who wants to leave the mother's nest. Why did the Revival leave the WWE? Well, let's go back and do this in chronological order. I'm not even going to talk about what they did in NXT, because if you know the Revival, you know how great they were in NXT. I'll say it every single fucking time. Their match at NXT TakeOver Toronto with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa was probably the best tag team match that I think I have ever fucking seen. Brilliant on all four men's behalf. Brilliant. There hasn't been one tag team match that has even come close to what those four guys did on that night since then. And if I was to come up with two matches off the top of my head, it's Undisputed Era versus Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch at TakeOver Chicago in 2018, and then Undisputed Era versus Mustache Mountain in the variety of matches that they gave us after that. Going back and forth trading the titles, where Undisputed Era went into the United Kingdom Championship Tournament, lost it. Undisputed Era won it back. And then they had the rematch to end it all, where Undisputed Era just proved to be the better team. Again, tag team wrestling is one of the most exciting aspects when you talk about professional wrestling. I don't want to hear from anybody, oh, it doesn't sell, it's not a big marketing point, it's not popular. Bullshit. Bullshit. Make it popular. Why groom these individuals for tag teams? Why call up anybody from NXT if you're in a tag team? Why? Because you have to fill a fucking quota? Because you have a fucking miserable show for 3 hours that you have to fucking fill content with? And you don't know what to do with any of these fucking wrestlers' talent? Let's go back. Talk about the Revival. The Revival. They made their debut on Monday Night Raw against the New Day. Everybody was fucking excited. The thought of the New Day and the Revival, the Usos and the Revival, right? The Bar and the Revival, and a mixture of everybody in between. It's a great fucking, right out of the gate, thought. Revival has all this fucking great, just, aura about them coming up from NXT, and then they're being thrusted into the main roster. Now we're going to get some great matches with the main roster teams. Now we can really see how good they are, right? They beat the New Day. And then all of a sudden, Dash Wilder has a jaw issue. Breaks his jaw. Out 2-3 months. Dash Wilder comes back. As soon as he comes back, then Scott Dawson injures his knee. He's out, or I think it was his knee. Or his shoulder, whatever the fuck the case may be. He was out 5 to 6 months. He was gone. You had one or the other wrestling matches on Superstars waiting for the other teammate to get back to full health. Then they were finally back to full health. And then they were on Monday Night Raw, the 25th anniversary show, and they were embarrassed by everybody in the ring on that night. Whether it was, who was it? Fucking Finn Balor in the club, and X-Pac, and Shawn Michaels, and Triple H, and all this bullshit. Why? I don't know. I would have been fucking completely miserable by the end of that night. If I laid my head down to sleep on my pillow in my hotel room that night, I would have been on my phone texting my partner, bro, I need to find a way out of here. Garbage. This is what you do? And then after that, I honestly cannot tell you one thing that they did in the entirety of that year for 2018. I can't. The only thing I can tell you wholeheartedly is that they were a bunch of fucking losers. Not because they are, but because WWE thought they were. So we come to 2019, a year removed from them being embarrassed by the Clique and the Club on Raw 25. Now we look back at that and come to a year now, current day. Where are we? The Revival is still losers. But this time they grew some balls and have made it very well known that they want out. Whether it's using the hashtag FTR on their tights, or tweeting the Young Bucks, pinning comments to their Twitter, stating that the Revival will wrestle the Young Bucks. Remember this tweet. Remember this tweet. In a day and age where WWE doesn't want anybody to know what the Young Bucks or the Elite or All Elite Wrestling is doing, the Revival's going on their social media and hyping up a match that right now realistically can't happen for another promotion that's rivaling WWE right now. Then they ask for their release. Doesn't take a fucking mathematician, like I said, to figure out why they asked for their release. Lucha House Party. They're in this miserable storyline where they're getting screwed. Justice for the Revival. Something wacky happens in a match with Rude or Gable. Something wacky happens in a match with the Lucha House Party. And it's the same shit every single week. It's the same shit every single week. On top of that, the Raw Tag Team division has zero competition. You've killed every team that has stepped foot on Monday Night Raw. Breezango, dead. The Ascension, dead and buried 6 feet under. Heath Slater and Rhino, does anybody even realize they're a fucking tag team? AOP, they're probably in some gas station fucking piss room, pondering why their NXT run didn't continue and why they're on Monday Night Raw. AOPP is what they're now known for. Piss jokes and toilet humor. Anybody else on this fucking roster that the B team? Do I even need to go into the fucking B team? They're a running joke in itself. Whoever's going to label you the B team, you really aren't getting off to the right fucking foot there. The B team. And this is a team that was the tag team champions in 2018. Let me repeat that. The B team were the fucking tag team champions over the Revival. If that is not a reason to ask for your release, I don't know what the fuck is. So they're looking around. They wrestle the Lucha House Party again on Monday Night Raw. They get a win, but who the fuck cares? Does anybody even remember what happened in the match? No. Nobody cares. They're just tired of doing the same thing every single week. It's like eating pizza 7 days a week. There's no way possible you're going to enjoy eating pizza on the 8th day. It's a once a week thing. It's a once a week thing, if that. If you're on a diet, maybe once a month. Give me a break. The Revival have been shafted. And then people want to know, well, where are they going to go? Why are they asking for their release? Why? I just outlined why. Would you be happy? If you were an employee of a company knowing that you have all this fucking potential, and everybody tells you how much potential you have, right? And there's a new company opening up who wants your services because they know how much potential you have and know that you're not being used to 1/10 of that potential. Are you going to stay because Vince McMahon's going to double or triple your paycheck? Or are you going to go somewhere where you're going to be paid handsomely and you're going to be treated with respect? People, I've said this all weekend. Money is not everything. Money is not everything. Happiness is the most important aspect of anybody's livelihood, period. If I stayed working retail and doing the podcast, A, I wouldn't deliver the shows I deliver to you. B, I wouldn't have the creative freedom to do whatever the fuck I want. And C, I may not even be here. I had to get out. I was unhappy. My happiness resided in me being creatively free, talking about my passion, which is pro wrestling. I maybe wouldn't have even got a job with House of Glory. Doors opened up. Once I set myself free and I took a leap of faith, doors opened up. Relationships started to come into play. I met people in the industry. I met people in the community. And I grew, and I grew, and I grew. I had an opportunity to do what I wanted to do. I had an opportunity to show and showcase my talents to a lot of different people. And here I am. And in 2 weeks' time, I'll be doing an unboxing, hanging my silver fucking play button on my wall in the office. 100,000 subscribers. We're at 105,000 subscribers ever since we hit that number on November 1st. I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in now. What does the Revival have to look forward to? Waking up every day. They go to house shows, and all I hear from everybody is how great their tag team matches are. And then we get to Monday Night Raw, and they look at the same script, and they're probably wondering the same thing that we're wondering. Didn't this happen last week? When are we going to catch our break? Why don't people respect us and appreciate us? How much of that do you think these two can possibly take before saying enough is enough? You don't want us? We want out. That's exactly what they did. That's exactly why they did it. Because they're tired of the same old shit, and they're tired of being underutilized. You know, there was another reason why they asked for their release. While they were in their fucking wrestling gear, mind you. What exactly led to the Revival asking for their release on top of everything that I just mentioned here? The Revival asked for their release on Monday. We all know that. I talked about it in a fucking off-the-script extra that ended up getting demonetized because of the excessive language that was used in the video. Oh well, I got my point across. The Revival requested their release on Monday, first reported by Bodyslam.net, then followed up by Satin, and we had Fightful as well with Sean Ross Sapp. Now, Pro Wrestling Sheet reports the Revival were unhappy with WWE and were frustrated by the lack of promos and backstage segments they were given. The fact that their match on Raw this week was used as a cutaway segment for people who wanted to line up outside Vince McMahon's office looking for a Universal title shot was just another example of disrespect and was the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. The Revival are also reportedly unsatisfied with the current WWE Tag Team division, so the frustration wasn't just for themselves. This is a duo that loves tag team wrestling. The Brainbusters, the Hart Foundation, Demolition. You name it. You name it. Go watch their ride-along. They do nothing but talk about how great old-school tag team wrestling is. Like two fucking geeks. They know they have the potential to be the best tag team in the world, but WWE is censoring them for whatever reason. They're suppressing them for whatever reason. The underutilization of Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, the authors of Pain and their toilet humor and the brunt of toilet humor, the piss jokes, were examples that they gave of things that were frustrating them. You know what the kicker was for them? The cherry on top of the cake? It was said things got even more heated on Raw with Revival and management after they mentioned Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, who are the current Raw Tag Team Champions, weren't even featured on the show. Do I even need to go into any more of this story? Do you blame them? Do you blame them? Not only the Raw Tag Team division, but the tag team division in general in WWE is a complete fucking tragedy. An absolute fucking tragedy. It just boggles my mind how there is just a complete difference. It is the complete polar opposite of what you see in NXT and what you see on the main roster. It's like they love tag team wrestling in NXT. You know? The War Raiders and Undisputed Era, I guarantee, is going to be one of the best matches of the fucking night. Why? Because it's tag team wrestling and it's NXT. They haven't let me down all year. I don't think they're going to go into Phoenix and fuck that up. I mentioned the Blackpool match with Mustache Mountain and them losing the opportunity to become the first ever UK Tag Team Champions with Gibson and Drake. Best match of the entire fucking night. Maybe one of the best matches of the entire year when all is said and done. What is the lack of care for tag team wrestling on the main roster? Why? Why? Why does WWE go back? And this is where they fuck up. They go into the fucking cookie jar and they reach for the same old stale, boring old chocolate chip cookie that they are so used to. Their taste buds are used to it. They go and dip in and pull out the New Day. Oh, look, it's the New Day. It's a chocolate chip cookie. It tastes good. So why change? They go and dip in the Bar. Oh, it's the Bar. They're chocolate chip cookie too. This is good. Who doesn't love chocolate chip cookies? The Usos. Oh, look, 3 chocolate chip cookies. Man, my tummy is full. That's all I need. That's all I need. I don't need any more. This is WWE. This is WWE. Instead of using the Revival the way that they should have been used ever since they got called up from NXT, a blithering idiot could fucking book this team the right way. AOP, The Ascension, Breezango, Heavy Machinery is going to be the latest to fucking fail on the main roster. The Club, Sanity, where the fuck have they gone? Right? And all the other fucking people on this roster you're not even using. The Hype Bros you broke up. Enzo and Cass you broke up. Something good that fucking did. If you didn't break them up, maybe Cass wouldn't have gotten hurt. Instead of going for the fucking chocolate chip cookie, throw some oatmeal raisin in your fucking jar. Throw a double chocolate chip in your jar. Throw a chocolate peanut butter in your jar. Throw a gingerbread cookie or a shortbread cookie or a fucking biscotti in your fucking cookie jar. You fucking imbeciles! What are you gonna do when Undisputed Era gets called up? What, are you gonna break him up? Bobby Fish, where's he gonna go? Oh, he's gonna sit in catering. Oh, Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. Oh, they're too small. Oh, Adam Cole. Yeah, just like you treated Nakamura, right? Where the fuck's Adam Cole gonna go? Yeah, I guarantee you he won't even come close to a U.S. title on the main roster. What are you gonna do with War Raiders? Vince is gonna take a look at them. I thought we had Killian Dane on the main roster. Who's this hairy guy with the big beard? Fuck him. You're gonna look at Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. Generic. Where the fuck you got these guys from? Petco? Yeah, Vince, I found them in line at Petco. I don't understand. Why are you signing these guys? Why are you signing this talent if you don't have the people in place to fucking know what they need to do with them? I don't understand it. Tag team wrestling everywhere is thriving. Young Bucks, right? Look at what they did for tag team wrestling. Look at LAX. Look at what LAX, Santana and Ortiz are doing for tag team wrestling. Every show that I go to for House of Glory to do my job, LAX is the best match on the entire fucking show. Why is that? It's tag team wrestling. They know the science of tag team wrestling. Look at what they did with the Lucha Bros. You tell me someone in WWE isn't watching that shit and getting excited? Well, I don't know. Maybe they are. I don't fucking know. If so, you're not a fucking human being. You're not a human being. I don't give a shit who you are. You think the Revival's watching shit like that and I'm wondering the fucking fate of them on Monday Night Raw? Like, what the fuck are they doing? They're probably asking themselves, Dash, what are we doing? What are we doing? Look at this shit. We could be doing that. Imagine us versus the Lucha Bros. Imagine us versus LAX. It takes the Revival for their frustrations to just boil over. To just say everything that needs to be said to WWE. Being that they mentioned how shitty the tag team division is. Are they going to be booked the right way? Of course not. WWE doesn't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. Will the Revival probably get pushed out of this? Probably. Not because the WWE wants to push the Revival, but because the WWE wants to keep the Revival happy so that they don't walk away. And if they walk away, their contracts are probably going to get frozen anyway. And they have to sit out and wait for WWE to cut their fucking losses. How much more we got to pay these fucking guys for sitting at home? It's ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. I hope to God that WWE does something with the tag team division. How many times have I told you what needs to be done? How many? It's the single best concept for them to go and do. I hope someone in WWE gets wind of this. I hope. Probably not, but I hope. Do what I tell you to do. You're going to do it with the women. You're going to do it with the women. Do it with the men. Your Monday Night Raw tag team division is fucking god-awful. I do not want to see the Revival versus anyone on that show. Merge the fucking divisions. Once and for all. Once and for all. And if not, start utilizing the talent that you have on this show and start building them in a fucking nice and easy way. Ease them back into the show. Create some importance for tag team wrestling. Don't understand the lack of care for tag team wrestling. The WWE is going to now take the Revival and they're going to silence them because of their frustrations by giving them a push and ultimately giving them the tag team championship on Monday Night Raw. At that point, what good is it? It's not coming from the heart. It's coming because they want to shut you up. They don't want it out there in the public that, oh, look, this one's unhappy, this guy's unhappy, this team's unhappy. It creates a bad image for the company. Everybody's dream is to come into the WWE. You got all these disgruntled workers wanting to leave. What kind of environment is that for the backstage? What type of environment or vibe is that to put out there to the general public? No one's going to want to come to the WWE if everybody, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, is all unhappy. So they're going to silence you and shut you up. They're not happy with the superstars creating their own narrative. It's okay if WWE wants to fucking shove their narrative down our throats. Roman Reigns and Charlotte Flair and Brock Lesnar, all this other shit, right? It's okay for them to shove their narrative down our throats. But when someone else wants to speak up, oh, that narrative cannot be written. We're sorry. There's no more pages left. Take your problems and your excuses somewhere else. They're not happy. That's why the Revival's going to get a fucking major push out of this. Dave Meltzer discussed this topic on the Wrestling Observer Radio this weekend. He said that this is a narrative that WWE doesn't want to get out, which is understandable for the reasons that I just cited. There are a lot of guys, he says, who are good, and they can't push everybody, so you're gonna have people, especially now, even if they don't make as much money, or even if they don't make more money, whatever, I don't have to be in WWE anymore. There's a lot of guys, he says. Yep, there's a lot of guys that completely aren't being used at all. They get signed, don't use them. They get called up, they don't use them. It's a narrative that WWE doesn't want out there, and they shouldn't. That people would rather leave for less money, or if they can get more money elsewhere. Either one of those narratives isn't good for them, with the perception that they are the only one, the only major league in town, and everything else is the indies. This is the narrative that WWE wants out there, that they're the one and only. They're the Ricochet, the one and only of the wrestling world, and everybody else is minor leagues. Everybody else is the indies. They want the perception that they are king shit, and they are no longer king shit. They may be financially, but they're no longer king shit. You can't be king shit if you have 25% of the roster disgruntled. Now WWE has to work at making those people happy, and we all see right through it. I don't give a fuck if it's a case of, oh, why don't you just shut up? Now the guys that you want to be pushed are going to be pushed. It's not because of that. See, you're a fucking idiot if you think that. You're a fucking idiot if you don't think that AEW's having some kind of effect on this fucking place. It's not about that. It's about the fact that WWE has this talent, and they should have pushed them way in the beginning, and now the only reason that they're pushing them is because, Oh, people want to leave. Oh, people want out. Oh, people want to have an early release from their contract. Oh, AEW. Can't have them go to AEW, God forbid. WWE will perhaps figure something out, and that will change any superstar's mind that wishes to leave the company. It's already been reported that WWE is going to double up on all existing contracts and double up on all indie contracts as long as you can come and show proof that you have a competitive offer from another competitor. Yeah, but they're not afraid of AEW though, right? The AEW has no effect on anything happening in WWE. You're a mindless fucking idiot. Bruce Pritchard actually talked about this on Something to Wrestle With when he was talking about Brian Kendrick's WWE release in 2004. It happened because Kendrick requested it, and he did leave the company, only to return a couple more times thereafter. Now, he goes on to say, and I quote, "Sometimes it's just a relationship with Vince and how you present yourself and how you deal with the things all along the road. If you were always there doing your job and never any problems occurred with you, anything like that, and you are nice about asking, then he'll do it. Sometimes if he thinks he has something for you that he feels is going to be big or he feels is going to be right for you, then he'll ask you to hang on and let's try something else." The best, and as crazy as this sounds, sometimes it depends on the mood, depends on when you ask and who you ask. I don't give a fuck what mood Vince McMahon is in. I don't give a shit how nice he is on that day. Whatever day you ask him, he's not giving you a release. He's not giving you your release because he doesn't want you to go anywhere. They want to suppress, they want to fucking hold hostage, and they don't give a shit. WWE's mindset, and this is where they run into troubled waters. Their mindset with that is, oh, let's take, and by default, that is not the attitude in which you, I guess, elicit respect for the superstars in question. Like, if you're going to sign just simply because you want them to not go anywhere else, you're not respecting the fucking performer. You have no plans for these fucking people. So how are you respecting the performer? And I wish more people would understand that. You know, everybody's lifelong dream is to get into the WWE. Some people look at the WWE as the end-all, be-all. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's not everybody's fucking dream if you're a pro wrestler. The majority of people who are signing with All Elite, for example, let's dive into this a little bit further, right? An MJF, a Maxwell Jacob Friedman. How old is he? 23, 24? A Joey Janela, right? He's out injured right now. He's young. He's in his 20s. Everybody that signs that age with All Elite Wrestling is going to figure out that this is a good decision now. You're going to make your money now. You're going to be in a prime position with a possible major TV deal in just the national spotlight now with another rival promotion. It's great now. But what happens when you do everything that you could there? And you're still in the prime of your life, in the prime of your career. Of course those guys are going to go to WWE. It's everybody's dream to go to the WWE. For all we know, Kenny Omega could sign. He's 35, 36 years old. He could sign a 2-3 year deal with All Elite Wrestling. Still be in his 30s. Just about to hit 40. He could still come on in to the WWE. I don't give a fuck what's reported or what you think you know of Kenny Omega. But if he signs with All Elite Wrestling, don't you think at some point in his career he wants to main event WrestleMania? You don't think the WWE is going to look at Omega 3 years from now and still want a Kenny Omega? Give me a fucking break. It's not a fact of, you know, asking for your release and going somewhere else. WWE granting it. They're not granting anything. They're not granting any release to anybody because they don't respect the fucking performer. And then you gotta push their fucking shit in to get anything done because they have so much talent, they don't know what to fucking do with it. Brian Kendrick got his release in 2004. It's a good example to use on maybe how nice he was to Vince McMahon that day. But in 2004, what the fuck was happening in 2004? He'll let you go. Brian Kendrick isn't going to be a game changer for WWE in 2004. Fuck him. Go do your shit. Come back when you're ready. WWE doesn't want the word out for so many people who want to leave the company. All Elite Wrestling is offering big money deals. WWE is going hard after superstars. Sasha Banks' name was recently brought up by Dave Meltzer. He continued to say it's weird because WWE is pushing a lot of different people. They're pushing a lot of guys, a few guys, Andrade, the Revival, to a degree, because they don't want to lose them. Oh, wow, what did I just say? What did I say on part one? They don't want people unhappy. They don't want people to leave. They don't want the word out that lots of people want to leave, especially they don't want the word out that people want to go to AEW. End quote. Now, it might be hard to hide that people want out of the company if news keeps breaking that another superstar asks for their release every week. However, WWE will continue on, and hopefully they won't lose too many superstars in the process. However, NXT and NXT UK, full of talented people in the company, will certainly be okay. Why are so many superstars asking for their release? Well, Meltzer even pointed on this. And this is something that I said too, and I love when I sit here and I say something well before all the bigwigs say it. It's not that difficult to figure out, but some people still need a lesson taught. Meltzer said it's not always about the money. Frustrations can build for various reasons, including the fact that a superstar isn't being used to their full potential. Money is always important, but if you're miserable, he says, I'm not going to say people in WWE are miserable. Some may very well be, but they're not really explaining themselves in a 100% manner. I guess the better way, because this is really what it is, I guess that they are mentally, to a degree, if you're thinking you're a good performer and you're not allowed to perform and you're not getting opportunities to perform at that level, you could. The Revival's a perfect example of this. You know they're good. They proved it in NXT that they're good. Nobody in the company denies that they're good. WWE has their own agenda and must take the mainstream audience into consideration as well. Yes, that was also raised. Therefore, they continue to push names like Ronda Rousey and Brock Lesnar. But you got 3 hours of television on Monday night. You can't find 20 minutes to give the Revival? Not saying you need to give them 20 minutes every fucking week, but treat them as a big deal. Build them. Your division is sinking. You need a team that needs to be at that level to build around and make everybody else at that level. You got the Usos, the Bar, and the New Day. There's absolutely no fucking reason the Revival is not right there as far as where they're built up. No reason why AOP is not there. There's no reason why the club is not there. There's no reason why Sanity is not there. There's no reason why Heavy Machinery can't be built up to get to that position. Speaking of the Revival, this goes back to what I mentioned earlier. WWE is not going to grant any releases. The Revival certainly isn't being granted a fucking release. So you can guarantee that they are going to be treated better because WWE wants to keep them happy. The Revival's contract, this was actually raised on Wrestling Observer. They have not been given their release. They will not be given their release. Their contract isn't up until April 2020. Where are they going? Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Why Mike and Maria Kanellis asked for their release? Well, this is a little bit more sticky of a situation. Now, the company would rather not talk about who's unhappy. We mentioned this, and Meltzer went over that fact again. He also stated about Mike and Maria Kanellis. Yeah, the story's not wrong, but it was several weeks ago. I think, from what I understand, they asked to give notice, and they were turned down, so they're going to have to be content on what they have right now. You know, there's another one. They were really good in TNA. Mike in some facets, and Maria especially, was really good with TNA. There's only so many people who were getting pushed. Before, the mentality was to just take the money, but right now there's a lot of different people. With All Elite Wrestling wanting to be an alternative to WWE, it could be very attractive to some superstars. The fact that they are changing the wrestling economy and people are still blind to the fact is just mind-boggling. Now, we're going to have to wait and see what happens, but WWE has already promptly denied any reports of releases or release requests. Ryan Satin talked about this. Pro Wrestling Sheet reported it. Sean Ross backed up Ryan Satin's report. So, you know, on a general scale, those guys are pretty, I guess, respected in that aspect. But then you had Satin report it. You had Sean Ross back him up. And they know a ton of people in the company who claimed that the reports were true And then Maria goes on our Instagram and says, oh, no, this wasn't right. Oh, this is false. I never said anything like this. Now, she mentioned herself. She didn't mention Mike Kanellis. But she was trying to dumb down the reports, and she tried to fan the flames, put out the flames, whatever, about the fact that she asked for her release. Now, you got all these fucking people in the company who are backing up Satin and Sean Ross Sapp's claims. And Maria's on Instagram saying, oh, no, that never happened. So who the fuck are you going to believe? I'm not going to believe fucking Maria Kanellis on it. No matter how much I disdain him, Ryan Satin was right. Ryan Satin was right. So I don't know why anybody's going against what he said and then Sean Ross Sapp backed him up. Another guy who I respect in the community. I'm not going to go against them. Especially when everybody in the WWE that I talk to, their sources, have claimed that they were true. Why isn't Mike and Maria Kanellis being booked on WWE television? I don't know. They moved them to 205 Live. I think that's a good move for them. Now, we all know they fucked up by not sending them to NXT. But Mike wants to come to WWE television, the power of love on SmackDown Live, right? Feuding with Sami Zayn. That went nowhere. After that, Mike wants to go get clean. He wants to go get clean. He wants to go to rehab and get off his pain pill addiction, his drug abuse, whatever the fuck he was going into rehab for. Wanted to get clean. Turns himself into a fucking genetic freak. Looks like a Greek god with the body that he transformed himself into. Great on him. I wish him the best of luck. I hope he remains clean. Maria goes and gets pregnant. Maria has a kid. They have their first child together. She gets pregnant. So Mike is out being WWE sponsored in rehab. They're paying for his rehab. Maria's on maternity leave. Someone's got to watch the fucking kid and take care of the kid. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? You want to go get yourself clean? You want to go have kids? And then you're complaining why WWE's not pushing you. I don't understand the logic behind that at all. Oh, Mike Kanellis is full of talent. Oh, Mike Kanellis this. Oh, Mike Kanellis that. I don't give a fuck. They are to blame just as much as WWE is to blame. WWE didn't send them to NXT to get acclimated with the WWE universe, and then they want to go have kids and go to drug rehab and do this all this other shit but wrestle. Now they're on 205 Live. Now they're clean. Now the kid is born and they're raising the kid. Now what? You think WWE is going to drop everything and fucking push you? How many people jumped ahead of you while you were off doing your own thing? Fuck out of here, man. Ridiculous. Now, if WWE wanted to give Mike and Maria Kanellis their release, it wouldn't even be a blip on the radar. Wouldn't even be a blip on the radar. At all. Who cares? Guarantee you won't even notice that they're gone. They'll show up in TNA, they'll show up in Ring of Honor, they'll show up in All Elite Wrestling. So be it. Cut your losses. Why are you paying this guy if you have absolutely no desire or plans to push him? Get rid of him. That's what I would do. If I have the magic stroke of the pen, terminated. Goodbye. Here's your release. Go do what the fuck you want. But don't sit here and act victim. Don't sit here and play, oh, well, why they're now pushing me? Look at all the things that you did in the time that you were employed. Why aren't they pushing you? Look at the creative decisions that they gave you right out of the gate. Oh, we're going to sign him. We're going to sign for this amount of money and put him on SmackDown Live. Nobody knew who the fuck you were. Nobody. It's everybody's dream I just mentioned to go to the WWE, right? Everybody's dream to hit the big time in WWE. Don't do it if you're not ready. I stand by what I said on my Wednesday NXT review. They were not ready. If you knew you wanted to get clean, if you knew you wanted to have kids, and maybe going to the WWE wasn't for you with the schedule that they demand of you, maybe you should have stayed in Ring of Honor. Maybe you should have stayed in Impact Wrestling until you were right in your life to go and give your life to the WWE. Am I wrong? No. The Revival, yes. The Revival have every fucking gripe in the world to complain. If you're disgruntled, if you're unhappy, you complain to management. Man, oh man, it's going to be a really, really interesting situation for 2019. The WWE is looking to silence you. The WWE is looking to censor you. They don't want the word out on the street that everybody's so unhappy because they want to remain the big dog, and if people, or so many people are complaining that they're unhappy, then they might not be looked at as the big dog anymore. AEW might be looking like a more attractive offer for everybody. And then all this news about what led to the Revival's release. Really? How can anyone sit here and not support both Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder? How? Tag team wrestling. Let's get on the program. You got all this fucking time now, all this week, after all this dirty news hit the internet, to start anew. Let's see what they do on Monday night. Man, oh man, I got more news, man. I got some more juicy topics. Where's the AOP? Where's the AOP? Did they get flushed down the toilet just like the rest of the tag team division? I'll tell you where they are. I got news on it. Also, AJ Styles. Why hasn't he signed a contract yet with the WWE, and what are WWE's plans moving forward for AJ Styles? What the fuck is happening with Lars Sullivan? I got news on that. And why WWE offered the Young Bucks a once-in-a-lifetime contract for WWE. All this plus so much more right here on part 3. This is Off the Script. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back right after the introduction. You're not going to want to miss it. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Off this shitty fucking product by coming on here and speaking the fucking goddamn truth about this fucking filth. And I can book a better show taking a fucking dump after eating my fucking Chipotle chorizo with extra cheese. I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say. Have I ever? Of course not. WWE is great, man. Fuck you, Japan, and Kenny Omega, Okada. Sonny! What is it, man? Can I suck your dick? What is it, man? And this is the #1 fucking podcast. Right here on YouTube.com! This is Off the Script. I just don't know, man. I just don't know. The modern day fan is, I swear to God, man, they are as dumb as a box of Crayola crayons. Really. They are the dumbest fucking people I have ever seen. Fans are backlashing over WWE's hyped Royal Rumble reveal on Sunday afternoon. Apparently, they took to Twitter on Sunday afternoon at 12 o'clock, and they were going to reveal a women's participant in the Royal Rumble every half an hour, and it only lasted 4 hours, and people were like, that's it? That's it? You wasted our time for all of that? People, I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible. If you don't understand anything, shut your fucking mouth. The Royal Rumble is one match every single year in which you don't know anything at all. You know nothing. Okay? I don't want to know the participants. I don't want to know who's in it. I don't want to know what number they come out. It's already bad enough that WWE announced that fucking Carmella and R-Truth are coming out at number 30. As if they did anything with number 30 anyway. The Royal Rumble is built on unpredictability and surprise. Why would you ruin that? Now, imagine if WWE went any longer with this and they announced the entire field of 30 in the Women's Royal Rumble, and Becky Lynch wasn't one of them. Imagine the backlash that would have been, even though she's in the SmackDown Women's Championship match against Asuka. Imagine the backlash that would have been if Becky wasn't announced for the Royal Rumble. Would have been fucking disastrous. The Rumble is built on surprise and intrigue and unpredictability. I don't even know why this was a fucking thing on Sunday afternoon. WWE does these things just to keep fucking busy. Sometimes the best thing to say is nothing. I don't understand it. But this was the backlash. This is what people are complaining about on Sunday afternoon. People, there are far worse issues in this company than to complain on their social media about a 4-hour hyped Rumble reveal for the women. Get your shit together and get your heads together and start complaining about the real fucking issues. Please. Please. I went to Evolve 120 last night, on Saturday night, in the snowstorm that we got, which ended up being nothing but fucking rain. Thanks, Al Roker, you fucking slob. I'm glad we didn't get any snow, because I fucking hate the snow. I can't wait till the spring season. But I went to Evolve, and I had a blast. Evolve 120. Thank you to those who came up to me and noticed who I was, and a few of you want the pictures and whatnot. But I had a great time, man. Johnny Gargano was in town. Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory in the main event. There are a lot of people who are singing the praises of Austin Theory, man. I'm telling you right now, seeing him in person and reading up on him before the event and finding out who he was trained by. He was actually trained by AR Fox, who was on the show last night in a number one contenders match. He didn't win, but he was there nonetheless. Austin Theory is going to be a real deal, man. I'm telling you right now. He is very young. He's like 21, 22 years old. He's their world champion. He looks every bit of the part for WWE, even now at 21, 22, man. If they don't pick up on this kid, which I'm sure they already have their fucking sniper scopes aimed right down at him, they would be foolish. The kid reminds me so much of John Cena. And he even pulled out a fucking 5-knuckle shuffle, but he is very skilled in the ring for such a young age. He's got a great presence about him. People, vehemently just dislike this kid. And I just got this vibe of this kid's going to be the next big thing, man. I can envision him in NXT very, very soon. And whenever his days in Evolve are up, NXT's going to be it, man. They're going to mold him into a superstar. I'm telling you right now, man, keep an eye out for Austin Theory. That was my first time ever getting to see him in the ring and seeing who he is and how he interacts with the crowd live. Great. Absolutely great. Johnny Gargano, it was a pleasure. I actually did the meet and greet with Johnny Gargano on Saturday night, and he is just a very down-to-earth. He was very friendly just with everybody, man. Just a fucking great guy. And I was so nervous meeting him. I got up to the table and I took a picture with him. I had him sign the flyer that was given out. It was like a laminated flyer for the Evolve show. It's him and Austin Theory in the headline main event. I'm going to post it. I'm going to hang it up in the office here. But I was nervous, and I told him, I'm like, Johnny, I just want to thank you for everything you did in NXT with Ciampa and just making NXT the best it's ever been and continue to make it the best it's ever been. And, it was just rounded out by a great year, man. January with Almas was not only the best match in all WWE last year, but it was one of my favorite matches ever. One of the best championship matches that I think I had the pleasure of watching. And he looked at me. He's like, really? We're going to do our best to top that this year. I was like, ooh. So I kind of marked out. A little bit. So, that match is fucking fantastic. It was my number one match all year. And, being that he said that, it makes me wonder what he's got planned with Ricochet, man. I'm having an inkling of a feeling what he's going to do with Ricochet may come close or possibly even top what he did with Almas. So I can't wait for Phoenix, man. It was a great night. There was other talent on the show that really caught my eye. What was his name? Bishop King. He came out wearing really old school jeans and glasses. He was this cool, bravado type character where, he didn't really want to be wrestling. He was very lazy, very lackadaisical with everything. And then when he actually wanted to wrestle, he would actually break out some fucking cool-ass fucking moves. And he really wowed the crowd. He was in a triple threat match with a few other younger Evolve talents. Josh Briggs, I believe his name is. He's got this very metal Viking-esque look to him. He's another guy that I really enjoyed. He's got a great look. Street Profits were there. They had singles matches. There was another match with Joe Gacy, and I'm familiar with Gacy because he was with House of Glory for a little bit. Joe Gacy and J.D. Drake, who was the WWN heavyweight champion or some shit like that. But he kept going on and on and on about how he's the best big man in the business, man. J.D. Drake is fucking impressive for a guy his size, man. I thought he came out, he looked, you know, I'm not going to lie, he looked out of shape. But when the guy actually wrestled, the guy was doing fucking moonsaults off the top rope. The guy was fucking flying around the ring. The guy was just bouncing all over the place. You know, he was doing big man shit. It looked like he didn't get winded at all. And, you know, Evolve, for Evolve, they had a really, really good showing last night. That you go to a lot of these independent shows, and a lot of them are very, you know, they receive mixed reviews. They're very rushed. They're very uncoordinated, unorganized. Everything started on time. Everything flowed nicely. They went in from one match to the other. And the talent worked their ass off. You know, it was just quick. It was in and out. The bell time was 6 p.m. We were out by 8. I got no issue with that. Out by 8. Having a few craft beers after the fucking show. So there you go. Had a good time, man. So I can't wait to see what Johnny does with Ricochet at TakeOver Phoenix. Very, very good time last night to meet Johnny. And I will get a picture with Ciampa one of these days, man. I have to. Anyway, man, other than that, we're going to get into the news today. I want to go over what I have to go over because it's my duty to do so. So let's hit it, man. Barbershop Window. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Code BSHOP10 for 10% off all of your orders, man. We got the best designs in the podcast game, no question. Make sure you guys go out and support with a t-shirt. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. As far as t-shirts go, man. I am in the beginning phases of possibly coming up with a new Negan design. And I am going to unveil another exclusive in the line of t-shirts. I don't know whether I'm going to do a campaign or if I'm going to put it in the rotation of barbershop shirts. I don't know yet. But a brand new JD Elite t-shirt, man. I might make it a timed exclusive for now and then in the summer, reintroduce it as a full-time. I'm not really sure. But I got a new t-shirt coming next week. You're going to want to see this. It's beautiful. And thanks to Sal Rex and his creative genius, we got a nice new design for you guys. But right now, barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Code BSHOP10 for 10% off all of your purchases, man. You guys know Harry's. Man. Harry's.com/script. New Year's, right? Everybody's got their New Year's resolutions. What are you doing about your shaving needs, your shaving resolutions for 2019? I want you to be smarter with your personal finances, man. If you use Harry's can save you about $100 a year if you are a regular shaver like me. I do it once a week. That's a lot of shaves, man. It's a lot of shaves for the entire year. It's better to take care of your physical self, man. Harry's products have won awards, including the 2018 Esquire Grooming Award for the year. And they'll keep you looking and feeling absolutely fantastic, man. So, what are you going to do about your shaving needs? Exactly what I told you. Harrys.com/script. I want you to get the new year off right. So, we have a trial offer. Get yours today. This includes the following. A blade. You're going to get a 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade because you got to finally trim your beards, man, like I do. You're going to get a razor blade handle. Now, you got the choice of 3 colors, man. The blue, the orange, and the evergreen. You guys know the deal on that. You guys can certainly choose whichever color you want because you have the option to do so. You're going to get a 2-ounce bottle of their shave gel. It is rich lathering. It smells fantastic. It hydrates your skin. You feel this nice tingling sensation on your face. And you're going to get a travel blade cover. A $13 value set that comes with everything you need for a close, comfortable shave. Harrys.com/script. If you guys want some history on Harry's, man, Harry's bought a world-class blade factory in Germany that's been making quality blades for over 95 years. They received over 20,000 5-star reviews on Trustpilot and Google, And they have a 100% quality guarantee. If you don't love your shave, let them know, and they're going to give you a full refund, man. Who the hell does that? Nobody. Harrys.com/script. I've been using it for over a year. I look great. I feel great. I found out about it through my father and my brother, and I would never sign off on anything that I don't believe in, that I don't use, and I don't think that you guys can find value in as well, man. Harrys.com/script. Audibletrial.com/offthescript. This one is very self-explanatory, man. You guys want something for free? Everybody wants something for free. Audible Trial is going to give you guys 30 days free of their service and one free audiobook of your choice. Yes, free audiobook just for signing up. All you have to do is go to audibletrial.com/offthescript, and you are on your way to browsing Audible 30 days free. Here's the best part, man. If you guys feel like you love Audible, you are more than welcome to stay on for the 30 days. If you don't like it for any reason, you can cancel within the 30 days. You can cancel on day 1. You can cancel on day 29. It doesn't matter. You guys can cancel any day within that 30-day grace period and keep your book for free. Compatible with iPhone and Android devices. Make sure you guys get yours, man. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Support the podcast by doing absolutely nothing but listening to the show, man. Thank you guys so very much for all your support right here on Off the Script. Let's get into the news, man. I want to start off, being that we ranted about the tag teams, I want to go into where the AOPP are now on Monday Night Raw. AOP, unfortunately, is out of action due to injury. Now, Dave Meltzer shared this news on the Wrestling Observer Radio this weekend. Akam, from the Authors of Pain, is hurt. I don't know the nature or the severity of the injury, but it's a leg injury, and he's going to be out a couple of months from what I understand. I did hear that this weekend, and that's why we haven't seen him, end quote. Now, Akam's injury will not only halt AOP's momentum. By the way, they had no momentum. So, whatever else they had going on, Drake Maverick, gone. This would be a great opportunity. This may be a blessing in disguise, to be honest with you. Bring them back, hit the reset button, get rid of Drake Maverick, bring back fucking Paul Ellering, build them up as a dominating monster duo. WWE might have to figure out how to use Razor without his partner. I don't even go that far into it. I don't even feature them. Put them on main event, put them on Superstars, whatever the fuck you got to do to get them, in ring and get them, some action. But I would not feature Razor without Akam. There are a lot of things that this injury could change. Like I mentioned, the WWE could do the reset button with AOP. They could get rid of Drake Maverick, which I never understood his pairing with AOP anyway. It looks fucking ridiculous. Why are these two monster guys going to be taking orders and initiative from a guy who is half the size of Akam's leg? Give me a break. Now, what this could also do is this could force WWE's hand into changing the tag team division, because with a solid duo in the AOP, now not there for half the year, what are they going to do? You got the Revival, Rude and Gable, the Lucha House Party, and nobody else on Monday Night Raw. That is not a division. I am telling you once, and I'm going to say it every fucking time until it happens, so I can fucking pat myself on the back and give myself credit for this brilliant idea. Merge the divisions. Merge the divisions. I'm predicting that we get a unified women's championship match at WrestleMania. There should be no reason at all that the WWE has a tag team division right now that is fucking dying 1,001 deaths. Get a unification match at WrestleMania. I am telling you right now, put the titles on the Revival. Claim that they have no fucking competition. Get the titles on the Usos. And let's have a unification match at WrestleMania and give them 20 minutes to tear the fucking house down at WrestleMania. Just merge the divisions, unify the titles, and I will be collecting my paycheck from WWE. Do I need to explain it any better to any of you listening to me right now? No, I don't. AOP's out of action. This is going to be more of a blessing than it is bad for WWE. Because if they were on Raw now, they wouldn't be used. Or they wouldn't be used properly. Now that they're out, this gives WWE time to hit the reset button and do what I said. And maybe get the titles on the Revival and we get a unification of sorts. Because now with AOP there, the tag team division is even worse than it is right now. Believe it or not. I'm all in favor of this injury. I hope that he gets better. I like the AOP. I think they have a ton of potential. But this could be actually a blessing in disguise for both Akam and Razor and the Raw Tag Team division. Speaking of tag teams, let's talk the Young Bucks, man. I don't want to go into this because I've got people on social media. Oh, JD, how does it feel to have a contract from Tony Khan, man? Shout out to Brian Zane. Brian Zane actually reached out to me via DM. He wanted to know what was with my Twitter handle. Wrestling with Regret, Brian Zane. He says, JD, is this for real? Or is this tongue-in-cheek? I'm like, no, dude. This is a play on the words of the trolls who think that I am on Tony Khan's payroll. And he said, and then he follows up with, yeah, we should all be so lucky. Everybody wants to be with AEW, man. I would love to be with AEW. It's tongue-in-cheek. And everybody somehow thinks that I'm on the AEW payroll because all I do is talk about AEW. Everybody's going to want me to talk about AEW. Hey, assholes! Right? What happens when LeBron James is doing his thing on ESPN or in the NBA, right? Is ESPN not going to talk about LeBron James? The NFL playoffs are happening. What would ESPN be without talking about the NFL playoffs? AEW is the biggest thing that's happening in pro wrestling right now. Why wouldn't I talk about it? You are a bunch of blithering fucking clowns. That's all I have to say on that. Of course I'm going to talk about it. You better get ready, because there's more to come. You fucking idiots. Anyway, I'm fucking hungry. I don't know if you guys can hear my stomach rumbling, man. I'm fucking starved. I haven't eaten all day. Brian Alvarez noted on Wrestling Observer Live this weekend that WWE knew about All Elite Wrestling, or people in WWE knew about All Elite Wrestling, and they also knew the Khans weren't going to carry through with this new venture without the Young Bucks. Now, being that WWE really tried to stop this promotion from getting up off the ground, so they offered Nick and Matt a very interesting clause in their contracts because there is only so much money WWE could have able to afford to the Young Bucks. So this is what Alvarez goes on to say, and I quote, so if you look at the salary structure in WWE, I mean, the idea that they're going to offer them $2.5 million each, they could, but I don't think they're going to. Those numbers are reserved for the John Cenas. Those numbers are reserved for the Undertakers. I think the Undertaker had a $1 million downside guarantee. The point of this story is that they could offer the Young Bucks $10 million each because that's how much money they have. But they're not going to do it. So if you're going to, pretty much upset the salary structure in that way, which they're not, maybe you can say we'll give you $1 million each. $1 million each. That's your downside. And then on top, you can make all of this money on merchandise and everything. They're going to think about that. But other than that, they have to consider that the sky is the limit for All Elite. The sky is the limit, says Alvarez, but they can do whatever they want in their matches. They'll have a lot of freedom. You could look at all sorts of people that have gone to the WWE main roster and have floundered. People who are there now that are fucking miserable. So you could still offer the Young Bucks. So what could you offer the Young Bucks besides money that would make them consider coming to the company? With all that is left, well, if you're not happy in 6 months, you can leave. They still didn't take that offer, end quote. WWE has a lot of superstars that they must consider when offering a new contract because they want a climate with a salary structure, and offering the Young Bucks insane money would upset that system. So therefore, WWE decided to go outside of their comfort zone and offer something that they really could never offer to anybody, or have not offered anybody, which was to have an out after 6 months in their contracts. Of course, the Young Bucks didn't take this deal. When you think about it, it's possible that AEW wouldn't have even been a feasible option in 6 months that I mentioned this on the podcast. If they took the offer, then Tony Khan and Shad Khan and the Khan family were not going to go into business without the Young Bucks, and the entire thing was hindering on their decision. You either take the offer from WWE and upset a lot of people, or you take a risk and have the backing of this family who is believing in you, and you have all the faith in your friends and your colleagues and your coworkers and everybody in the business and the industry, and you could be looked at as saviors. They took a risk. They took a chance, and you got to respect them for that. So they didn't take the WWE deal. AEW probably wouldn't have been an option for anybody. AEW wouldn't have even been a thing. So they struck when the iron was hot, something that WWE doesn't do at all. And All Elite Wrestling is going to happen, and the start of the company will be with the Young Bucks and Cody and the Elite as part of the company. You can't blame WWE for trying everything they could to get the Bucks into the WWE, knowing that with them, AEW would not even exist right now. So kudos to the Young Bucks. Nothing but respect for what they are doing, and they took a chance on themselves. And if you need anybody to model yourself after, man, if you are wondering if you should do certain something in your life, if you want to take a risk, if you want to take a leap of faith, per se, and if you're not happy with your job, whatever. If you feel like you could find happiness somewhere else in something else, make a little bit less money, in today's climate, do it. Happiness is much more valuable than any money you can make, man, really. That peace of mind when you come home is worth more than anything. I found that out. I did the leap of faith thing, and I'm incredibly happy with the decision I made, man, and I got all you guys to thank for it. So you got to look at the Young Bucks with some type of respect, man, and the wrestling industry is now changing every single day. The Young Bucks are changing the WWE without even having worked in the company. That's amazing. Change the world? Man, they're changing the fucking universe, like Chris Jericho said, man. Give them time. Yes, everybody's hyping it up. They don't even have a fucking ring yet, I know, but that doesn't mean we can't get excited about it. The prospects of it, the thought of it, is it exciting? Yes. Is there hype around it? Yes. Let's be realistic about it? Yes. I don't want people to come out and say that AEW is going to outsell WWE. It's not going to happen. I don't want people to come out and say AEW is going to put WWE out of business. It's never going to happen. Let's welcome a true change, a true alternative, and see where the years down the line take us. Everybody take it easy. But I'm going to sit here and report every fucking aspect of AEW as soon as it hits the news feeds, man. Why? Because people want it. People want change, and I'm excited about the WWE finally being in a position where they don't have all the power anymore. I love it. I love it. If WWE is sitting here with all the power, we're all unhappy. AEW has once again brought faith back into fucking wrestling fans' lives. You can't really fault them for that. AJ Styles, is he going to AEW or is he staying with the WWE? Well, according to sources, according to Meltzer, AJ Styles is still without a WWE contract offer from the WWE. Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that Styles is still without a contract offer from the WWE. However, it is certain that he will sign another deal. He didn't note where Styles is likely to sign, but this has really put him in a great position to get as much money as he can. AJ Styles doesn't have a new contract. What timing does he got? He's got the best timing in the world. He's going to have a contract, sure. No doubt in my mind. I mean, what a great time for your contract to expire, especially for AJ Styles. Good for him. He worked his ass off for 20 years to be in this position. End quote. WWE's doubling up on contracts. AJ Styles is going to make double the amount of money compared to the original offer that he got from WWE, or the original thought offer that WWE was going to offer him. WWE is going to offer double the amount so that it doesn't go to AEW. They're going to offer him a lighter schedule. He's going to get it. Why? Got to keep everybody happy, right? AJ Styles more than likely is going to sign with the WWE. I would be shocked if he does not. And I think Vince values AJ. I think everybody in WWE values AJ. I think AJ Styles is a great ambassador for the company. They're not going to let him go. WWE is going to do everything they can to give this man what he wants. And man, what a fucking time to be AJ Styles, man. A guy who wants to take care of his fucking family. And his family's going to be well off for the entirety, forever. So AJ is going to be with the WWE without question. All Elite wants to sign as many superstars as possible. AJ Styles, I'm sure, is on their high list of priorities. Man, if they do get AJ Styles, Jericho, Styles, Omega, Neville, Cody, that's a big deal, man. That's a big fucking deal right there. AEW was able to pull in Jericho and offer him the most money he's ever made in his career. You never know if they could do the same for AJ Styles. Meltzer was certain that AJ Styles is going to sign a new contract. However, he didn't specify who would be getting his services. Only time will tell. But WWE is already planning AJ Styles' WrestleMania match. AJ Styles, according to Barn Burners No Holds Bar podcast, AJ Styles is currently slated to wrestle or Randy Orton. It's going to be AJ Styles and Randy Orton at WrestleMania in what could be a WWE Championship match. Orton versus Styles Makes sense, but plans clearly always change. WWE had plans for this match in the past and held it off until now. Now it seems like they could finally be pulling the trigger on Styles versus Orton. How do you feel about that match? Now, that would have to mean that AJ beats Bryan for the WWE Championship, and AJ goes on to defend the title against Randy Orton. I've been told by people who I know, who know people in WWE, that Randy Orton is going to be looked at as a guy on SmackDown Live, and Vince loves Randy Orton. Vince wants Randy to be the guy on SmackDown Live. Vince wants Randy to lead the charge on SmackDown Live. Vince wants Randy as the WWE Champion. I don't agree with that. I really don't agree with that whatsoever. Now, let's think about this realistically. If AJ beats Bryan at Royal Rumble and goes on to WrestleMania, Bryan's no longer champion. Bryan doesn't get a rematch. Rematch clauses don't exist in WWE anymore. It's antiquated, remember? But if AJ beats Bryan, what does Bryan do at WrestleMania? That could open up Bryan for Shawn Michaels. We could realistically be thinking about that. Or if Bryan beats AJ, are we going to get AJ and Randy Orton in a just one-on-one match, undercard match? Could be. Because what I was told, or from what I remember being reported, Shawn Michaels, the only other two guys that they want Michaels for is AJ and Bryan. So now, if Bryan wins, who does he fight at WrestleMania? If Bryan wins, I would like to see Bryan versus John Cena at WrestleMania. I think that would be great. I think that would be awesome. And I enjoyed their first match. I think it would really make sense. I would love the interaction between Cena and Daniel Bryan, the new Daniel Bryan, this fucking environmentalist Daniel Bryan. I think that would be great going back and forth with John Cena. That could really be a lot of fun. Now, John Cena wouldn't win the match or the title, but it would get John Cena in a WrestleMania match that I think, a lot of us really wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind that at all. It's better than fucking Lars Sullivan, correct? It's better than Lars Sullivan. So if Bryan wins, I could see John Cena being his opponent at WrestleMania. Now, if Bryan loses, Bryan could probably get Shawn Michaels if Shawn Michaels is willing to come back for a major WrestleMania match, especially if Batista can't come back, if Triple H can't come back, The Undertaker's future's in question. We don't know. Maybe they bring back Shawn Michaels and he goes one-on-one with Daniel Bryan, teacher versus student. Bryan, this environmentalist, this angry environmentalist, there's no better person to bring back to teach him a lesson and get him back on the right track than his teacher, Shawn Michaels. I could see that. Then AJ could go on to defend the title against Randy Orton. So you got some options there. I don't mind AJ versus Randy Orton. I think that is a WrestleMania match. I really do. Randy Orton and AJ Styles, I think that could be a match that could, if you wanted to, steal the show at WrestleMania. Who knows what AJ and Randy Orton could do at WrestleMania? I don't mind that. But the title on the line, we'll see what happens. But AJ is slated for Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Whether the title is on the line or not, I guess we'll find out after the Royal Rumble on the 27th. Speaking of Lars Sullivan, man. There's a ton of Lars Sullivan news here that I did not go over on the podcast yet, and I'm going to go over it here today before we get the hell out of here, because that's all I got. Now, there are rumors going around that WWE terminated Lars Sullivan. I want to put that out there right now. I'm debunking this. WWE is not terminating anybody. I don't give a fuck who you are. WWE did not terminate Lars Sullivan. There were reports that Sullivan was terminated. PW Insider debunked all that. Sullivan is still under contract, okay? Now, we don't know why he has not been on Monday Night Raw. People are assuming it's anxiety or a panic attack. There's a difference between the two. Anxiety attack. Some say that he walked out. We don't know. Now people are bringing up the question, well, the rest of the NXT call-ups have been on TV. They've been featured on TV in these little skits, these little segments to get them, I guess, antiquated, or that's not the right word, affiliated with the main roster and the audience, right? Maybe they're saving Sullivan for a bigger debut. Maybe they see Sullivan as the leader or the ringleader of these call-ups. I don't know. Maybe they're saving him for the Royal Rumble. I have no idea. But Sullivan was not terminated, and he is still with the WWE. And it said that Sullivan was in the works for a big WrestleMania match with John Cena. Now that question mark has been placed on Cena and Lars Sullivan. Now, there were reports that WrestleVotes put out They stated that Sullivan wasn't even at Raw the day he walked out. He wasn't even at Raw. So people were reporting that he walked out. WrestleVotes said that he wasn't even at Raw. So people were trying to accuse him of saying that Lars walked out. However, it was reported that Sullivan wasn't even there in spite of the fact that he was scheduled. So WrestleVotes put that out there, and they said, and I quote, Lars wasn't at TV. I never said anything about him walking out. As of last weekend, he was scheduled to be there, and he wasn't. That's it. Nobody knows. Sullivan suffering from an anxiety or a panic attack. People are saying that's false. It was made very clear that the report stated that Sullivan didn't even show up or wasn't even in the building for Orlando when Raw was in Orlando. So that followed up with a report that Lars Sullivan might not have suffered from an anxiety attack on Raw. So Alvarez explained this on Observer, and he stated, and I quote, I want to clarify one thing here. So the term anxiety attack has been thrown around. He goes on to say, I think he had a panic attack. I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on here. I know the term anxiety was used. I also heard the term panic attack. Now, they are two different things. Two different things. You know, anybody can have a panic attack, whether or not you have anxiety issues. Does that make sense? So I don't know if this is a mental health issue. The impression I got over the past couple of days is that this is not a mental health issue. He just kind of panicked. End quote. Now, it was said that WWE was very understanding about Lars Sullivan's circumstance. It might have cost him, though, a match on Monday or Tuesday. And it cost him possibly WrestleMania. But hopefully, we'll find out soon because he was booked in a major match against John Cena. Now, he goes on to say, and I quote, the impression I've gotten is that they're not rewriting everything and they're done with Lars, and Lars Sullivan is, it's everybody. Vince is very upset with what happened. He doesn't like someone who is flaky, and Vince has given chances to more than 95% of the guys. So my guess is at the end of the day, when everything is right with Lars Sullivan, he's going to debut and everything is going to be all right. Yes, Vince was upset about it. Vince doesn't like people who are very flaky and I would say irresponsible scheduling-wise. Now, Sullivan's debut in Serious Jeopardy, you know, it was reported by Raja that the current plan for Sullivan was to debut on the 21st. So that's the current plan right now, for him to debut on the 21st, tomorrow. And it said the segment would be pre-taped, but a feud with John Cena was set to begin. The bad news is that Sullivan going home and not contacting WWE with these plans could be up in the air. Sullivan did not appear on Raw or SmackDown. After going home to Colorado, Sullivan ghosted WWE, as well as everyone as far as communication goes. After that, Sullivan missed other events over the weekend. According to Raja, like I mentioned, Vince McMahon isn't happy at all. Vince is blaming Triple H about this. It said that since Triple H was a strong advocate for Sullivan, that he has now heat on him, Triple H. Triple H pushed for Lars Sullivan's call-up to the main roster as well, and Vince McMahon is said to be extremely unhappy at this turn of events. They say, and I quote, with his continued absence and lack of communication with WWE, that segment is now in serious jeopardy, and the scheduled match with Cena at WrestleMania is also clearly up in the air. I don't know why any heat is on Triple H. You can't blame Triple H for a man who has fucking mental health issues or anxiety issues. You can't blame Triple H. Let's blame Triple H. Like he pushed the fucking button and he gave Lars Sullivan anxiety on the day that he got anxiety, per se. Give me a fucking break. Give me a break. All goes back to what I said in the podcast on Friday. WWE will look at any situation to point the finger of blame at Triple H. This is your guy. This is your NXT guy. This is your fuck up. This guy's a failure. They're already trying to point the finger of blame to Triple H. Give me a break. The guy has a mental health issue. Here's a clue, WWE. Why don't you fucking rewrite the plans, go in a different direction, and wait till this guy gets better. And if you deem him healthy enough, bring him back and then build around him again. I don't understand why anybody's being blamed for someone who has mental health issues. It's ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. Now, Raja went on to say that they had a big segment planned for Sullivan, and it looks like WWE changed their booking with how everything went later on in the show on Monday night. WWE had planned to tape an angle where Sullivan was going to beat up Cena and begin their WrestleMania storyline. The segment was supposed to air on this week's Raw as Lars' official debut, but Vince pulled the plug on that either the morning of or on the night before Raw. Unclear whether that means they will try again later or if that the entire storyline is now scrapped. Triple H is said to be taking the heat from Sullivan's situation as well. With so many new superstars debuting on Raw, you have to wonder if Sullivan's window to make his first appearance might be closing. Let the guy get better, please. I mean, does anybody give a shit about Lars Sullivan? No. Are they going to release Lars Sullivan? No. So it's all hearsay. So if Sullivan is out with anxiety and Lars Sullivan's suffering from mental health issues, let the fucking guy get better before we start pointing the finger of blame. Okay? First of all, Sullivan shouldn't even been called up to begin with. He's not even ready. And a match with John Cena is not appealing at all. I don't see that going anywhere and fast. So let's nix that right in the fucking butt as well. Please. Sullivan and Cena is not exactly what I think of when I think of WrestleMania. So WWE really needs to get on the fucking same page here. Let the guy get better before we start pointing the finger of blame on Triple H. Before you know it, EC3 is going to fail, and Nikki Cross is going to fail, and Heavy Machinery is going to fail. And then what's going to happen? Triple H is going to take the heat for all that as well. I don't give a shit what's going on with Lars Sullivan. I just hope that he's better. I mean, who the fucking blame him? He probably read the script of Monday Night Raw and developed a fucking panic attack. This is what you're doing with me? I'm out of here. He probably got cold feet. Who the fuck knows? You know, you pull him out from NXT, where NXT babied him. He had the backing of Brock Lesnar, who went and flew personally to Orlando to train with Dylan Miley when we heard about him. We heard all this stuff about Dylan Miley, and he was on NXT television. They cared for him. They built him up as best they could as the Freak, as their monster. Comes to Monday Night Raw, you know, when you're someone that young and someone in that position with not as much experience, it's not out of the realm of possibility that he developed cold feet. He got fucking nervous and he didn't know how to handle it. You know, maybe he needed time for himself. Maybe it was just done in a rush way where he wasn't prepared for it. He mentally couldn't prepare himself for it, and he fucking threw himself into anxiety. It's not that out of the question. You know? People get nervous. People develop anxiety. Just out of the blue. You know? He can't help it. And WWE shouldn't really be pointing the finger of blame at him either. Just live with it. The guy will be back. And when he's back, he's back. I don't know why anybody's making a big deal about this story all these weeks. He'll be back. They ain't letting him go. Because a guy like Sullivan does have value. And I'm sure that value will definitely show up on an Impact, or show up on a Ring of Honor, or show up in a AEW. Please. They ain't letting him go. He'll be back. I'm getting out of here, guys. Thank you so very much for everything. Off the script. Another weekend has concluded. I will be back, episode 258 next week. We are going to do the Royal Rumble preview predictions, the best that I can. We're going to gather all the news for the week and talk about the Royal Rumble. We're going to go over the predictions, who I think is going to win the men's and the women's Royal Rumble, who I think is going to win as far as the championship matches go, and all that, plus our number one pick of the greatest Royal Rumble endings of all time, our number one on our top 5 list, all next Friday. So we'll go over all of that on Off the Script. Thank you guys so very much for everything. If you missed anything this weekend, links will be in the annotation in the top right corner of your screen. And hit that thumbs up down below, man. Sorry that the video was a little late today, but the Patriots and the Chiefs is what everybody's watching, so who the fuck's going to give a shit about Off the Script? So I'll upload it when the game is over. Thank you guys so very much. I'll see you on Monday for Raw, the go-home show for the Royal Rumble. Until then, have a great Sunday, and I'll see you all on Monday for Raw right back here. I'll talk to you guys later.